And with that, we are back. Let's see what's going on with Kronos. I love how the title is just that week drama. I have no idea what's happening with that, but we're gonna check this out and see what is happening. Because we all in the PSO community as a content creator, and honestly, look at you guys in chat right now. You stuck here as well as I am. So we're going to figure out what the hell is exactly going on, just in case this is something that's going to do any big blowback at some point. So, have at it, Kronos. What is happening?
Oh boy. That's not good. Okay. Video time. What is going on, YouTube? Krono here. Welcome back to the channel. Oh boy.
Oh, this is gonna be a whole thing, isn't it?
You guys can't give me 1 week. 1 week. I've been trying to take it easy, man.
We can't have a day. Let's be on it.
I'll talk about that later in another video. Don't worry. But for those of you guys who have been unaware, there has been a bit of a tweet that's made the rounds in the PSO2 community, and it has offered me what's what we're looking for here in this case, a unique opportunity to help you guys understand part of my process, as well as understand a little bit more in depth of what's actually happened here. Now,
let's do it
then.
Then.
A disclaimer: I'm going to share my opinions on this tweet itself, and exactly what I think about it at the very start. Or, I'm sorry, after, not at the very start, but before we go into like the specifics of it, we'll go through everything together, and then I'm going to give my opinions on it at the very end.
Don't worry, chat. You get my opinion throughout.
Involved in this tweet
if I have any.
I'm going to quite literally just go through it and provide my opinion on what's been going on, as well as full context for everything, because I feel like full context is what gets missed in a lot of these things.
Yeah,
and
it really does.
Sure plenty of people want to leave this sort of stuff in the dust. Without context, that's how these things get repeated consistently. So that is why I wanted to take this time to use this example here, because this is not the first time I've seen something like this pop up.
Won't be the last, I promise you, chat.
Let's pop over to Twitter, our good old Brain Dead Bird app, to get some more context. So we have a tweet here from Einhander that popped up yesterday around this time, and it ain't great. We're gonna go through the whole thing step by step in the order that I'm sure most people have gone through it, and I'll offer my points at the very end after we've gone through it. So if you have already gone through this, or maybe you haven't gone all the way through it, by all means, kick back, relax. I'm gonna read everything to you guys, as I do.
Yay! I don't have to do it with my dyslexia. Let go. Thank you, Krono.
So, tweet reads as follows. Einhander quote tweets Duras tweet and says, "Look what we have here, a couple of borderline unstable Talus losers talking shit, trying to gaslight people into believing Talus is an actual weapon, yet barely read never by any legitimate proof. Be careful posting screenshots of real players. Stay in La La Land." Oh, we'll unpack that in a minute.
Wait, what's going on with Talus?
This kind of ignorant behavior. What else do you want from us? What hellish challenge do we have to complete to finally be seen as competent in your eyes? Oh wait, we never will. They're just all blind and unwilling to accept that we can play on the same field. Which is a quote tweet from Octochromia. I'm probably mispronouncing your name. I apologize. Their tweet is it's just that look. I can't take it anymore. It doesn't matter if you tell them 100 times. They don't want to believe you. And they posted a screenshot of this. So Bubbly War posts, all they have to do is get Talus on par with other weapons and do actual boss damage, and we might have a class. Einhander posts, "Keep dreaming. Talus is 100% a mob weapon and is never going to get out of that prison." It says, "I bleed force," but I imagine it's Octochromia. I have the same profile picture. "I won dual quests with Talus. It depends on how you approach it." Einhander responds, "When was this? Also, it's dual quests. Those are where the purple trigger clears." Now, this was actually part of a thread that's up here, and we'll go.
I got real quick on this. So this is about the weapons and the complaint about that. Which, to be honest, at least from what I have seen, I barely see anybody play Talus, to be honest. To the point that I may or may not forgot that was a whole weapon to literally Krono started reading it. Other than I know Kuhn played it for a little bit. So yeah. So what did Talon do to pit people off? Is it just because the people that use it only so, I guess we're gonna find out, only so many, and they're just being aggressive about it, or is it like actually bad? Because I did towers like a little bit in base, thanks to PvP, but I have never really met with it in NGF beyond like, I think like in the cold beta, I think I met with it for like 5 minutes, and that was like it.
Go ahead and read through that really quick. So Dura posts that damage less DPS is kind of yeah. You use a launcher, I use a Talus. That is max modifiers, level 75 eats Kabusion. We are not the same. Also show proof. Sheesh, remind me never to post on Reddit again. The community is even worse over there. I'm gonna go against what I said a moment ago and just say that you're right. It's Reddit is sometimes okay, other times yikes.
Yeah.
Follow tweet is it's not that Talus can't.
I kind of like my feeling with the way that PSO community.
You would not, or you would be surprised how many think that it can't deal damage. Very nice hearing this in my weapon of choice every day. This won't stop me, by the way. I could care less of these sort of comments. Octochromia responds, I'm also tired of defending Talus on Reddit. People have engraved it on fire, and it's only an AoE weapon. No matter how much I tell them that Talus, or tell them with Talus, I was able to win dual quest because although it does less damage, its rate of fire is much faster. What rolled? I don't know what they're trying to say.
Yeah, this is literally how I feel about the machine guns as well. Like, yeah, we hitting like what 400 or 500 a hit, but the thing why, you know, Slayer is out here doing multiple thousands, but at the same time, it literally like 400 or 500 damage like every like half second, which adds up very quickly. So it's sounding like you're pretty on par on that end.
Here, but okay. Dura, yes, this is exactly. We managed to be dual quest for goodness sake. They just can't accept it. Octochromia responds, it's just, and then of course their post. All right. So
yeah, your people always made up their mind and just hating on people then.
My thoughts. There are two different arguments happening here. Completely different. On one side, we have the Talus users that seem to think that everyone says their weapon isn't a weapon. That you can't use it, and if you use it, you're bad. That seems to be what I'm hearing from what I'm looking at the responses. And then we have Einhander responding with that Talus isn't a good single target weapon. And not just Einhander, apparently other people as well. From quotes, Dura hasn't provided who's saying these things, but from...
Just for the record, real quick on this end. I feel like where we stand right now on the... Without some crazy stuff go down, they feel like one of the argument that is literally coming out of boredom in so many ways here. Because once again, like I have said many times, like, because obviously in that case, people are saying they beat dual quest with it. So obviously it's a weapon. It works. If they can get it past it, it does what it need to do. But on the other side of that is literally the whole thing. Arguing about this is kind of pointless because like they fall into that camp of I could get people getting like anal about it, like they obviously are here, if there were content actually were hard and content that actually matters. Because it's like, and then it became like, you know, we actually have like specific meta for content, and you know, like hardcore waiting is in a lot of other MMOs, but like if you don't have F, Y, and Z, you're not welcome because we can't get past it because it's such a small margin. But they're not PSO at all. Like, they ain't gonna die in a matter of a second depending on, you know, how powerful your weapons is. And how you doing, Bank? Welcome. We're getting caught up on why the community on file today, and I very quickly have Will like, oh yeah, this is why we don't get into like weapon debate, especially for PSO, because it's literally pointless. Just starting as a online augment with people. Over damage PSO weapon at any point. It doesn't matter at all. Like, if you can do the content and thing die, which, like, as we were talking about earlier, not like PSO really have any content outside dual quests that have, and I get purple trigger, that actually have a fail state. Every other content like you die, any of your whole team wipe, you're gonna come back in a few seconds. So yeah, there's literally like no point to argue over damage. Like literally the argument we had a few days with people just like as long as you got your battle power up and you can do the content and you know you find spending an extra few minutes or seconds in the content and the content get finished, like I feel like one of them cases that people are hitting the camp hill or the camp of outside of boredom. Literally having the thing like I've been, thousands of hours making my weapon that only going to be useful for the next 5 days to say replace it, but I spent thousands of hours and you have to do it too, and the weapon that we automatically rolled off at being weak can do the same content as my 1,000-hour weapon, and you did it with nowhere near enough time to, farm it up, level it, augmenting, whatever. Like, how dare you, like taking it so personally, and it's just like, man, like, can we just have the discussion whenever PSO become a game that actually matter about this type of stuff? To them.
All that matters is that CM is a sexy alpha male who makes straight men question their sexuality with his charming good looks and luscious locks. The end.
And for anyone watching it on YouTube after the fact, come on over to twitch.tv/TroyMaconn if you want to figure out that lore and the whole thing. But, people get mad when damn it on part. Yeah. It literally, I think this is the whole thing, and the reason why, like, DPX counters and stuff, like, exists. Like, people gotta be like, oh, I gotta know who in a party doing less damage. So we can, bickle at them. It's like, man, can you take that energy and put that somewhere else? Man, I wish I had that kind of energy. But just imagine what I could do with my life if I had that kind of energy. Hell, man.
They're saying that the weapon's not good. It's not good single target. So here's the facts. Talus, in its current iteration, as it's designed, is not seem to be designed as a single target weapon. All of its strengths are in AoE. Now,
my kind of weapon,
what the dev team has decided they want each weapon to be just yet, because realistically they haven't come out and told us. We can make assumptions based on kits,
and they would never tell us
until they just flat out say this is what we want. We don't know.
And just for the record, chat, in game design here, which is beyond the normal Sega routine, I'm not saying. In the whole idea also in game design, if you make a weapon, armor, gameplay mechanic, whatever it might be, and you design it in a very specific way, being like going into it, it type of whatever. The second you give it to the player, that your opinion on that and what you want that weapon to be don't matter anymore. Because once you get like thousands, if not millions of people playing with that mechanic or whatever it is, they're going to think of things and do things that you never thought of as a developer. We can like change everything about that item or about whatever. So any of they did design it as an AoE weapon don't mean that the player base going to actually use it as an AoE.
Now, does that mean that you can't use Talos in content?
I agree, CM.
Absolutely not. Does that mean that...
Like I said, CM, it really does feel like people... Like, you know the saying, the whole idle hands or the work of the devil? Or idle hand will give you sins, or, whatever. I know there are, like, multiple sayings along that line. That's what it feels like. It feels like, don't get me wrong, they were going to zit no matter what, because, any game that have you interacting with people, hell, any single player game, just talking to people you know in life or multiple, still going to get the same thing, so I guess it doesn't matter. Every game going to have this. But it kind of feels like it also, why it also seems so over the top and any more dumb, is also probably got a lot to do with just everybody being, like, bored out of their mind and NGS right now.
I thought you said idle ham at first, Craigasm.
No idle ham. Actually, now I want food. Anyway, but yeah, that's what it feels like. It literally does just feel like people are bored to tears, and they're just trying to think of anything to keep themselves entertained here.
You're bad for using Taliesin content that's single target. Absolutely not. Is Einhander saying, or anyone saying, that you shouldn't use Talus in in boss content, in single target content? No. The reality is no. No one has said anywhere in any of these things, no matter how mean they have been about it, no one said you shouldn't do this.
Yeah.
Einhander quite literally has said Talus is 100% a mob weapon, and is asked, when did you clear the dual quests? Where are the purple trigger clears as well?
Oh, I have too, Mason.
Now, to give context to the situation itself, because that's what we're here for. Context. Dual quests have augments that are specifically set up to give you a massive amount of damage to be able to clear the content. I personally believe that if every weapon was not capable of clearing dual quests, the issue would be in the balancing of dual quests.
Yeah, absolutely.
Every weapon should be capable of clearing it with a full suite of augments.
Yep.
That is quite literally how the quest was designed.
I agree.
Every weapon can. Now, to what degree?
Yeah, you wouldn't cut off certain players.
Keep in mind also, we did just get level 75. I haven't touched dual quests since the update, so I don't know if
I haven't
dual
either,
quests are still level 70. If they are, and we're over their level, that is also going to play a factor.
I imagine they probably killed them up,
level,
right? Do anyone know offhand?
Level does make a massive difference in how much damage you're capable of dealing. That does factor in. That's why Gigas seem to be so freaking tanky, is because they're 4 levels higher than us, meaning we are doing less damage. Granted, they also have a defensive modifier, but on top of that, they're
idle hams for everyone.
Yeah. Yeah.
Also higher level than us. That does make a difference. So, quite literally right now what's happening is 2 different arguments. One is saying Talus isn't a great weapon that can do single target.
Don't tempt me.
The other is
Don't
saying their
tempt me,
weapon.
chap.
Honestly, I'll be real with you guys. I don't know what Talus players are trying to say, because it feels like they're defending their use of the weapon when no one is saying they shouldn't use it. It feels kind of one-sided, unfortunately. And again, I would love to have a sit down and talk with people about each weapon individually. Maybe that's something I do in the future for a video series, but
That above my
I don't
pay
get
grade.
what the defense is here. It seems like Talus players are defending their use of a weapon, but what I consistently am seeing, and granted, maybe I'm only seeing a portion of this because there could be other sides of this, totally understandable, but what I'm seeing is people aren't attacking the Talus players, they're attacking the Talus. And yeah, I'm definitely one to want to defend his weapon. Krono, Soaring Blades main. Not to say the weapon is bad, but that's an argument for a different video. But at the end of the day, I don't see a single person attacking a Talus user for using Talus.
I'm pretty sure it happens some
If
will.
you can accomplish things, dude, awesome. Go for it.
Let's be honest. Anybody
Now,
put up any
the
type of
breakdown here
defense
where
or
things went
hostility,
awful was
someone
the way
gonna
we're
get
providing
offended by it.
The reality is, if you're someone who is trying to be informative, part of what I do in my YouTube channel is I like to be.
I'd like to have a sit down with these people and tell them to go touch some grass and eat some idle hams.
I would too. I would too. Because, like, honestly, my saying in life is, like, if you can beat the content with it, the content you either want to do, or you can beat all the content with it, doesn't matter. It doesn't. And also, I'm with Kronos on this, of like, if that was a problem and you couldn't, that's a balancing problem with the game or the weapon or the class or the quests. You know. So I'm with you. I'm with you, chat.
I try to provide information to the community itself, context, damage numbers, things of that sort, all that sort of stuff. But part of what I have to keep in mind is what I'm saying. If I want to be heard, how I say something matters. So it's a twofold process. Is the information correct? And am I presenting in a way that it's going to be received? Now, when you provide information, you don't have to present it in a way that it's going to be received that you want them to be received in. But you also can't be upset at people for receiving it in the way that you provide it. if you're antagonistic, they're going to be antagonistic back.
Yeah, exactly what I was
Keep
just
dreaming is
saying.
completely unnecessary in this situation. That assumes that you're dreaming off in La La Land, that you're not actually in reality. Granted, it's not wrong, but the reality of the situation is we don't know. We don't know if Talus is supposed to be a mob weapon. We know it currently is and how it's designed, but we don't know if that's what's intention.
And the way the player adapted
and
to
here,
it.
there wasn't even an attack here. This was literally just asking for information. And the saddest part is, man, as I checked, I looked around, and you guys are more than welcome to DM me proof if you'd like to, but I have yet to see a solo, and I'm going to say this fully because I want to make sure there's full context for this, a solo purple clear on current gear set on current update. I'm talking about you being 4 levels behind the target you're fighting, and the gear that was equipable at the time that you could fight that piece, that target. Granted, now we're levels above it. Now we have access to an extra slot. Now we have access to level 61 armor, so it wouldn't be the same. But until this point, I have yet to see one that was available, and that sucks, man.
To be totally honest, I think somebody have done it, probably a Japanese player, more than likely, because as we know from the gaming community chat, people like doing some very, very unprofessional thing to get a past certain things. Look at the Dark Souls community as a whole for that one. So, honestly, I think someone out there have done a challenge one of it, and it probably exists somewhere, more than likely on, you know, some Japanese, like, social media site, more than likely, because let's be honest, it's probably a Japanese player, but you know someone have, and have proof of it.
Like, that really sucks. That speaks to how powerful Talus is in single target. In dual quests, of course, man. You're supposed to be able to clear dual quests. That makes sense. That's the whole point. In dual quests, you might be overleveled for them right now. Have we cleared the current dual quests? I'm curious to see. If
I need to look and
has.
see if they
Probably
did
have.
bump
I
up the
imagine it's
level.
very doable, but I don't know. I haven't looked at that one. I just looked in the purple triggers because that's usually the better barometer to see how well a weapon's doing in single target. The reality is we don't have access to being able to measure DPS easily in game at the moment. We can measure potency, but actual in-game DPS, we can't see that yet. At least yet. Apparently they're supposed to be adding that in.
Yeah, they
So,
talked about that during
now
one
with
of
all
the
of the
Q&As,
context,
right? I
seeing
feel like they
something
did.
This does look a bit different, right? Seriously, this kind of ignorant behavior, what else do you want from us? I mean, quite literally just asked. Dual quests and purple trigger clears, they're the best way to understand if the weapon's good in single target. What hellish challenge do we have to be complete to be finally seen as competent in your eyes? It's not the player, it's the weapon. No one is seeing Talus players as incompetent. If anything else, it's the opposite. You have to be extraordinarily competent with your weapon to be able to clear that piece of content. You have to try substantially harder. And oh wait, they never will be. They're all just blind and unwilling to accept that we can play on the same field. No one is condemning Talus players. No one. No one's condemning Talus players. If they are, they're stupid. The reality is if someone is saying that Talus players should never get a chance to do damage, they should never be single targeting circumstances, it's dumb. I'm sorry, that's just a stupid take.
They're
I'm
just
going to be mean
dumb
about
in
this one
general,
because
in
I feel
any
like someone
MMO or
might get
any
surprised.
game.
That is a dumb take. Every weapon deserves to deal damage if that's what the dev team is looking for it to do. The reality is we don't know, so we can't make that determination. So no one is saying that you shouldn't be on the same field. By all means, do it, man. I don't care if you use a Talus. I care if your gear is actually.
I kind of want to take Talus now.
That's what I care about. That's the reality of that situation itself. And here, this is where you lost it. A couple of borderline unstable Talus losers talking. Yeah, this.
Yeah, there's a
right
now
here,
the insult.
it doesn't matter that what you had to say was correct. It doesn't matter that realistically what you said and what they took it was, you know, they took it the wrong way. It doesn't matter that technically Dura called you ignorant. Realistically speaking, no one's listening anymore.
Yeah.
And this is the front tweet. This is the first one they're going to see. No one has anything to say. They're not listening anymore. What they're going to see now is someone bullying a group of players for using a specific weapon. And what they're going to assume is that you're having a meta conversation. They're going to assume that you're saying they shouldn't use the weapon ever, even though that's never what you said. They're going to assume that you should never use the weapon and that people that use the weapon are stupid and dumb. and they're assuming that this is the way you're talking to them the entire time. This is textbook why I re-record videos, why I listen back to them, why I double check what I'm saying, why I go through everything that I do when we have these conversations, because this is what can happen. This is the other side of the coin. This is the other side of the fence. This is what I could have been. I could be here in this situation itself. The reason you guys are like, oh, well, you're not that mean, or you wouldn't come off like that. Guys, you have no idea what I have either said to myself or written down and has never been uploaded. You have any how many conversations I've had with
Let me tell you about my blunt time, chat.
With other techers. Funny enough, a techer, mind you, I think this conversation is about techer, by the way. I can only assume since Einhander was involved, but with other techers asking for more damage, and my mindset being like, do you guys really need more damage? Like, I've been there, man. But I don't post these things because of this sort of response. And I'm going to show you guys the quote tweets now, because I can already tell you where these are going, and I don't even have to look at them. Kind of silly to be toxic about it. People enjoy whatever weapons they want. Each weapon is rad. Not what they said. You can shut up and let people play the video game however they want. To play the video game, you're just loud, douchey, and wrong. They're not wrong. They are loud.
I'm guessing they're pretty powerful right now, especially after the boot recently. I'm guessing, Mason.
They didn't provide any legitimate proof. They didn't provide any legitimate information.
God, I forgot Talon was a thing, so don't feel bad.
Granted, Talises is a weapon. It's just not very good at single target. It's great at what it does. I'm not sure if you didn't enter the pot for checked into for YouTube channel. Maybe it's the wrong way to do it. Encourage others to play how they want to, not tear them down because they're not playing how you want them to. Take a break from the game. You need it. Not what they did. Literally not.
Yeah, we need to run the numbers on that then, because I do need to level my tech at 75. Because they're at 70 right now.
To insults. I mean, granted, Dura, you also did call them ignorant, so it can be seen as an insult as well. But if this is all text and inflection in context is required, you have to assume because there are no emotes. There's no emotion in text. That's why emojis and emoticons exist.
This is why we make video chat and my dyslexia.
Guys, doesn't prove that I'm not trying to like specifically spin a story for you guys. I don't know what does. These are literally my friends that are responding in the exact way that I assume that people are going to respond in because of how this tweet looks. Drip. People can play whatever class they want.
Okay, yeah. That don't sound too bad at all, then, Mason.
Not what's happening here. Legitimately, not even the conversation that's happening here. Just shut up. People can play, enjoy the game however they want. Jesus Christ, people are so entitled. Not really being entitled. Again, not what's happening here. Being an asshole, sure. Not being entitled. Straight arcs trash mindset from people like this and a bunch of hashtags. I mean, I love you to death, best in slot, but like, you know what? This is probably the closest to the right thing. Arcs trash mindset. Close, but not completely correct. Mindset's still there. It's right, but again, you're being an asshole. I should have just let people have fun. This is quite literally my partner, guys. I don't know how else to explain it. And they just continue
damn
on.
Damn white shade.
So my whole purpose of this entire video, guys, is to kind of explain why I do what it is I do.
Yeah, I could see how that could be very powerful. Especially if you know what you're doing.
Even further. I mean, that's not my intention. My intention here is to get you guys to understand why I explain things the way that I do and how something that, I mean, I don't even have to defend that it wasn't meant to be this way. You can see it for yourself. We're quite literally having arguments that have nothing to do with what's actually being said. So
isn't that how this always goes, chat?
Any further than that. The reason, one of the most common arguments I see this happen in is in fighting games. This reminds me of the low tier pick conversation of someone saying that I play this character even though
don't you complain about my Kimberly.
I'm able to do X, Y, Z. I'm able to accomplish all these things.
Or my Cammy
to
chat.
My Talus friends, the same way I would say this to those players that choose that choice. Stop giving your win to the weapon or the character. That is your skill level.
I was getting ready to say just that. Because the other thing to keep in mind here is depending on how good you are, you're blocking, you're parrying, you're dodging, it don't really matter. Because the longer you're good at that, you can stay alive, and you can stay alive, eventually you're going to kill everything, no matter what. It's a number and a tuition battle at that point. Which, once again, I feel like this is literally like That whole dumbness deal, I feel like have been settled by the Dartso community, playing on a damp pad with a wild up bananas while playing level 1 with a stick. You know? That's all like proof of this. You know? Yes. Yes. Please. Play Cammy. Any if she horribly out of focus because how my camera is set up, but please, Cammy. Do it, Pride.
No one is telling you you should not play with this weapon. They're saying that the weapon is what's holding you back. You are doing fantastic.
100%, Mason.
Behind your back, quite literally. This is not an argument.
Disn't play style, disn't enjoyment.
I'm talking raw numbers.
And it doesn't matter in the end. Not right now, anyway.
Is not doing you any favors. If you're able to accomplish things, fantastic. Round of applause. Unironically, I'm not trying to be patronizing. I am quite literally saying you're doing a fantastic job.
Yeah, you get through the content, all that matters.
Attacking you for using this weapon. I understand.
Or you're idle with the idle emotes.
Not always in the best of shape. Trust me, I get it. And funny enough, Uber kind of summarized this more than anyone else ever could, in my opinion. As for the drama around PSO2 Twitter at the moment, acknowledging a weapon is weak is fine. Trashing people on that play/main said weapon because of it is not. Some people will work or will play a weak weapon knowing that its weapon is not strong. I did that with
that's the other thing to keep in mind. And like Oddmate can like change so much about the weapons as well.
Because it wasn't. It was
depending, depending on depending on what Oddmate you're doing.
No one said he was bad for using it. No, he didn't say he was bad for using it. But the weapon was bad. He accomplished a lot with it, but it was bad. There was some more follow-up here. You can fury to it if you like, but the reality is that I don't understand why we're consistently trying to give wins to these weapons. You guys are the ones that are doing well.
Yeah, because the kill level is what matters.
You individually, man.
The Oddmate and the weapon can only take you so far if you don't have the kill. And by kill, I mean also time to just keep taking away at the enemy. Because just remember, you only fail in PSO2 if you quit the mission, stop fighting. That's the only way you can fail in PSO2.
Difficult for us. Now the
outside of like 2 quests.
A meta player attacked a group of Talises players, and no one's going to see it as anything else otherwise. It doesn't matter what the facts are. It's how it's going to be spun. I think that's it, guys. I think that's all I got for you guys today. This is about as much I can dumb it down to, or not dumb it down, but as much as I can cut this down to. I know this video is longer than I wanted it to be, but hopefully this kind of gives you guys an idea of why I look at things the way that I do and why I present them the way that I do, because
and also this is the reason why I don't get into like the weapons and that type of debate in my videos usually.
But I don't respond to it in this sort of way. And the reason I don't respond to it in this sort of way is because look at where we started in this.
Because at the end of the day, none of it mattered.
And because of where we ended up, look at our responses. It's not going well. All right, guys, that's all I've got for you today. Like if you guys enjoyed the video. I mean, I feel like this is probably gonna get disliked quite a bit because I wasn't like, hey, just screw this guy. I think he's wrong.
Hell, my version probably will. I will.
This is all exhausting. Poro sad. Why can't everyone just kiss and make out and shut the fudge up about PSO weapon damage?
Damn right. And also, why they are making out, they need to also make sure to, of course, like always.
Yeah, make sure you keep hitting that like button.
He's absolutely in the right of what he was saying. The information, the facts are definitely there, but
that too, yeah. Everybody, yeah, every game had competition, yeah. Because like the thing is, like, don't get me wrong, this have always been a thing, like predating the internet, going back to magazine day, going back to freaking like the playground days, or like bars in the 70s and arcade places when people weren't snorting cocaine constantly. It like it literally how people get so invested into certain things, and any more so for like MMOs or like live service because might it be because of time, might it be because of money, whatever the reason, maybe because friends have made you play that one game for like 700 hours. I'm looking at you, Pride. I'm pretty sure think to me the only reason you have watch that much of PSO. I'm sorry and not sorry, but is of course like eventually, you get so invested that you can no longer like see be able to see what the actual discussion is. You are so like not like cold mind, but like narrow focus so much that you kind of miss everything happening around you to the point of realizing that it doesn't matter. At the end of the day, it truly don't matter. Literally what we were talking about when we were doing that origin quest earlier and people were bailing. It was like, there's no point. But the problem is that at a certain point for certain types of people, that you get so involved in it. And on top of that, like so much Stockholm in it to the point that, we have them issues of, people arguing over literally nothing because of just pure boredom or frustration that and then lash out in other ways. Okay. That too, we can't forget about the B1 community for Elder Rank. Yeah, B1 leaderboards, tournaments. Yeah, people look for competition in everything. And any stuff that don't have any type of real competition, usually the worst is because most people are just like wanting, with their own thoughts. Any of like the majority of the people playing, reading, watching, whatever, doesn't matter, not just a gaming thing, don't care. And whenever the person don't care, it usually always like for the ones that do always take such a big offense to it. It's like the main reason why, like whenever like like what happened a couple nights ago, just like like talking about how we just don't care about weapons, we don't care about upgrade. Why do we care? Because like everything die eventually. And like some people just can't comprehend that at all. But they are so far invested so much into like the competitive side in one way or another that that you can't compute, so they have to lash out. Oh, absolutely. What do you think the real life billionaire would do with all them money? Why do you think that is nothing more than a bragging right of like, I got more money than you, or I can get in the fate higher than you? That happened in real life, so that happened with Macetta. You absolutely know that happens. Not counting the other side of that, the people who are like arguing who have spent the most money as well.
The way he said it.
Just not gonna zit no matter what.
That was trash. And realistically, he's only gonna have himself to blame about the responses. All right, guys. Take care. Peace out.
Yeah. Yeah, at the end of the day, this whole discussion really doesn't feel like admit communication with look where it is a tweet and read it. Like admit communication with a degree of boredom, I feel, from a lot of the people. Because, it's really the thing you gotta focus on.
I have watched Troy play NGS from the beginning. Yes. The beginning. And I have never played a second of it. Yet I love it and enjoy watching you play it. Very interesting, I must say.
If we going into rants and complaint, maybe that's probably the bad part, right? I had a feeling that was the case. But yeah, mid-communication with boredom, met with idle hands, with like freaking Stockholm syndrome, and everything in between. At the same time of like, I know it's never gonna happen, but for the games that type of stuff would make sense for, especially like, like I said, the games that have like more like super hardcore waiting, like it's still not great, obviously, it's still bad, but that like them games kind of make sense for it, especially with how hard some of that content can get depending on the game. But for PSO, it's just like, it's so dumb. It literally like I talk about when we talk about like if PSO would pay to win or not. Like, it paid to win in the most dumbest way possible. And the most, like, the most pointless way possible as well. And that's how I feel about this as well. It's just equally as dumb. I'm just like, man. Like, at the end of the day, if you can do the content, up die, you have the skill level to block, dodge, and roll, and he'll be doing like 1 damage. Hell, well, like, look at the people that literally fought Gigantic doing 1 damage and beating them. Like, look at that. Like, at that point, it didn't matter the weapon, good or bad. They were doing 1 damage, and people still beat Gigantics like that. So, like, this whole thing
But he
is
rants
pointless.
more than he plays, chat.
I do.
Just kidding, I love you, Troy, and long live the waifus.
All the waifus. Especially the Cammy waifu, since she on my deck. My Miku statues are behind me and they're too happy. So we're gonna worship Cammy tonight, chat. But yeah. But then again, I guess I get Talises killing PSO, huh? What the hell? God. How are we all this bored?
Pay to win, but what exactly are you winning, as anyone and their grandmother's pet poodle can complete the content we have?
I know. Like I said, the reason I say, like, it paid to win in the possible way, like, to know the man here, like, it not even good pay to win. At least in game like Lost Ark or like any other Queen MMO or like Pat Exile or whatever other MMOs or games out there that have pay to win as well. At least that it's good pay to win. At least you paying and actually winning. You're actually getting something. Well, PSO is no. It literally, you give money to win, and then you just get slapped in the face and told to do it anyway. That is PSO pay to win. It's really bad. You know it's bad when it's like bad and not just like greedy company bad.
How much is a penny? 1 cent.
Although, having said that, Troy still hasn't done his dual quests judging eyes.
That is true, I haven't. I haven't done the new one yet. I still need to do that. We would do that tomorrow, probably. Oh god, that is a very good point. Yeah, competition got auto player because the game don't give them that. Well, that is a perfect statement and a half, Mason. I like that statement. That if you can't find real competition and real challenge in the game, find it from other people in the community.
You haven't completed the old ones either, TroyMaconn 2.0.
I got them like 25% down in health. Isn't that enough? Actually, don't answer that. But with that being said, though, that what happening with this. I lost a few more brain cells. Nothing to get Krono, but my God, my brain. I'm gonna go back making menu videos and, you know, helping newbies and wearing Miku wigs. I'm gonna go back to that now. But since it will go up on YouTube, I don't have the button to do my like thing. It's still like 5. Actually, hang on, chat. Hang on.
Why is there suffering in the world? Because you touch yourself at night. Give me $20.
I'm giving you money because I like giving you money. The end.
Fair enough. Fair enough. I will take that pride. And since I can't do my thingy, where is my thingy, chat? I don't even know. Where is my thing? Chat? Where is my thing, chat? I don't even remember what I named it. What did I name it, chat? Okay, this is again awkward, chat. Where's my like, favorite, and subscribe button? I don't know, chat. Actually, hang on. Am I in the wrong thing?
This guy's a furry, right? And that's my business. But I will say this, the clues are all there.
That good enough. That good enough for like, favorite, and subscribe. Yes, that. Good. I'm done. I'm not hunting for it anymore. Either way, like, favorite, and subscribe.
I said say goodnight.
I'm working on it.
And go to bed at
I'm
a
trying to say
reasonable
good.
hour.
I'm trying to say goodnight to chat. Well, not chat, but YouTube. If you once again, VOD YouTube. Link in the description for Kronos. Go say hi. Go say hi. Tell him Nightshade want more cosmetics. Here
We
you
need
go,
one
Tal.
more hour, Troy. Get me through work. I need it.
Don't you worry, I would do my best. But for now, leave for the VOD. We are done. So, say goodbye to YouTube chat. Like, favorite, subscribe. See you in the comment. What am I doing? My brain.